bus, got off at the first city, the first site, and when we got off, if anyone is from India or has been there, you know what I'm talking about when I say about 25 to 30 kids came running up to us, trying to sell us things or asking us for money. And so there was one little kid who was about 6 or 7 years old who kept following me. The whole 2 hours I was at the site, which was actually beautiful old ruins and temples. And so I was walking around with my camera and she was following me. And the whole time she was following me, she kept asking me for money. Not just money, specifically money for ice cream. So, she caught my attention. For 2 hours she was there. And just before I got back on the bus, I just looked over at her and I thought, you know what, she's just a little kid. All she wants is some money for ice cream on a hot day. So I went over to my dad, grabbed his wallet, which is what we Indian kids do. So I grabbed his wallet, took out the first note that I found, didn't even check to see what it was, folded it up, went down on my knees and put it into the little kid's hand. And when she felt the note, her eyes lit up. And she was thankful that it was a note and not a coin. Her eyes lit up and I said, okay, listen, go buy yourself some ice cream. Don't let the other kids know that you have this money because they'll bully you and take it away. So she said, thank you, and then she started running away from me. And as I saw her running away with this cloud of dust behind her, if you can picture this, I thought to myself, I spent 2 hours with this little kid. I know nothing about her. So I called her back. She stopped, froze, almost afraid that I was going to ask her back for the money. She walked up to me and I said, what's your name? And she said, Kavita. Kavita is my name. My heart stopped. My world froze. I fell to my knees and I was just crying uncontrollably. The poor thing didn't know what hit her. My dad came running up to me, he's a doctor. He's like, what are you doing hugging the street kid? And I said, Dad, her name is Kavita. My dad immediately understood the significance of the situation and walked away. And I looked at her and I said, my name is Kavita. And her eyes kind of lit up and she smiled and she said, will I grow up to be as pretty as you? And I was like, oh man, I just want to put you in my pocket and take you home. But it made such an impact on my life. When I got back on that bus and drove away from the situation, looking down on it, I kept asking God, why? Why did that little Kavita have nothing? And why do I have everything? And as I was journeying through India and doing a lot of praying and asking God like this, why? I just kept questioning him, And I don't know if any of you have felt this way. You just question God, why? And at one point, he stopped me and he said, do you have enough? And I said, I do. He goes, well, stop questioning me. Stop asking me why. That is not your job. And I was sitting, and this was during prayer, and I opened the Bible, and the verse that jumped out at me was, too much is given, much is expected. And I was given so much, very much like everybody in this room today. We have so much. So why should God ask that of us? Too much is given, much is expected. Why shouldn't he expect us to give back? My sister, this incredible young woman, my sister, she went to Kenya to volunteer at a little orphanage. And a 5-year-old boy walked up to her and said, Priya, do people in America cry? Do people in America cry? This little boy could not understand, could not wrap his mind around the fact that Priya, who had shoes, clothes, and parents, had any reason to cry, or anyone like her. And as much as we feel like we have so much going on, and everything is coming to an end, it really isn't. Not compared to so many children out there, and women and children out there that don't have even half, even a sliver of what we have. There's this incredible quote by Edmund Burke that says, I should read this because I want to get this quote right. All that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. All that is necessary for evil to triumph is for good people to do nothing. I know that there are enough good people in this room, in this community, in this world, that can kick evil's butt. It's just about knowing that we have it in us. We have it in us. God has made us so unique. We have it in us to step up and make that difference. And making that difference does not mean you have to go to Africa. Some kids just think, oh my gosh, I have to take a mission trip. It's not about that. It can be as simple as taking the clothes that you have in your closet small little thing helps. And that was what I learned on that trip. And God kept saying to me, just do, just go out and do. So as we sing this next song, I urge you to look at yourself, almost look at yourself in a mirror, and ask God what He wants you to do. And realize two things. One, you were made in the image of God. You were made in the image of God. And the image and the likeness of God. And when you realize that, you realize that Christ lives in you. And Christ, when He came down here, He came down and got messy. He used to sit up there. He came in there and He did. And that's what He wants us to do. And ask Him that question. Ask Him, what do you want me to do? And just one more point before I end. That little girl, Kavi, on the street, the only thing she had in common was not my name with me. She was also made in the image and likeness of God. So when you think about it, the other kids out there, or that little girl was my sister. She's my little sister. She's family. When you think of it that way, family sticks with family. You take care of family. And that's what Jesus wants from us. So I just urge you to have the conversation, because a lot of us don't understand what He wants us to do, and a lot of us you look out there